main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. Hansarupa Prabhu was saying this morning that this Acharya title is not just to be casually or loosely just kind of applied to anyone and everyone, but it's for very exalted personalities who know their eternal relationship with Krishna. They're not under the modes of material nature, and by the potency that's naturally endowed through them or with them because of their position, they can deliver anyone all over the universe. It says in the Nectar of Instruction that how is it said, he can make disciples all over the world when one is right, controlling the urges of the mind, the body, etc. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. He is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. His glory is beyond the conception of ordinary living beings. So when Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda are having the mock fight, each kind of accusing or insulting each other based on more or less external things, they're both the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so it's like yourself joking with yourself. You ever do that? You're like, why are you acting so silly? And like, come on, I'm not acting silly. You're acting silly. You have like within yourself an argument. Mahavishnu performs all the functions of the creation of the universe. Sri Advaita Acharya is his direct incarnation. The Purusha creates and maintains with his external energy. He creates innumerable universes as his pastimes. By his will, he manifests himself in unlimited forms by which he enters each and every universe. Sri Advaita Acharya is a plenary part of that Purusha, and so is not different from him. Indeed, Sri Advaita Acharya is not separate, but is another form of that Purusha. The Advaita Acharya helps in the pastimes of the Purusha, with whose material energy and by whose will he creates innumerable universes. Very exalted position. Being a reservoir of all auspicious attributes, Sri Advaita Acharya is all auspicious for the world. His characteristics, activities, and name are always auspicious. So, all forms and incarnations of the Lord are kind and merciful to their devotees, certainly, but also to the fallen conditioned souls. Mahavishnu, he performs a function, but as it's described here, he is a reservoir of all auspicious attributes and is all auspicious for the world. And I'm just going to state this Adi Lila, chapter 6, verse number 12. It's verses 14 through 15. I would say they are in the top 3, or maybe even the longest of all of Srila Prabhupada's purports. And very important to study and to understand. This is the verse that has the longest purport. Just as the external energy consists of 2 parts, the efficient cause, nimitta, and the material cause, upadan, Maya being the efficient cause and the pradhan, the material cause, so Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assumes 2 forms to create the material world with the efficient and material causes. So only pure Vaishnavas can actually understand this difference between these 2 types of causes. And within this purport, you will see many strong and substantial and famous arguments against the Mayavad philosophy, which more or less claims or tries to declare that there is no ultimate cause separate from material nature. Their mundane manifestation in this time and place that we're living are the mundane scientists who claim such a ridiculous thing. And Prabhupada very strongly trained his disciples to combat this illusion, this falsity. And hence we have the book, among many others, Life Comes from Life. So also as mentioned in the chapter summary, that as the expansion of the Lord, ultimately Lord Krishna, all the expansions of the Lord, they are imbued with Dasya Prema. They are the source of all the mellows of servitude to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He delivered all living beings by offering the gift of Krishna Bhakti. He explained the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in the light of devotional service. Sri Advaita Prabhu, although he is an incarnation of Vishnu, for the welfare of the conditioned souls, he manifested himself as a servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And throughout all his activities, he showed himself to be an eternal servitor. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda also manifested the same principle, although they also belong to the category of Vishnu. If Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Advaita Prabhu had exhibited their all-powerful Vishnu potencies within this material world, people would have become greater impersonalists, monists, and self-worshippers than they had already become under the spell of this age. The Mayavad philosophy was not as predominant in this Kali Yuga as it was in previous yugas, if at all. And to, just like to make the winter as cold as it is and as dark as it is, material nature has to change itself. The sun can only be in the sky a certain amount of time. The earth has to move on its axis, so it's not close to the sun as it is in the summertime. So similarly, the Lord instructed Lord Shiva, create a philosophy that will deviate the people in general from me in this age. In one place it said this Kali Yuga is the opportunity for the conditioned living entity to eat or harvest the full ripened fruit of atheism. Just like Maharaj Parikshit, who are you attacking the Dharma and the cow and a bull in my kingdom? I've never seen anything like this. So now it's everywhere. Therefore, the personality of Godhead and his different incarnations and forms play the parts of devotees to instruct the conditioned souls how to approach the stage of devotional service. A bona fide teacher follows in the footsteps of Advaitacharya has no other business than to spread the principles of Krishna consciousness all over the world. The real qualification of an acharya is that he presents himself as the servant of the Supreme. Such a bona fide acharya can never support the demonic activities of atheistic men who present themselves as God. It is the main business of an acharya to defy such impostors posing as God before the innocent public. Sri Advaitacharya, however, considers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu his master, and he thinks of himself as a servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He forgets himself in the joy of that conception and teaches all living entities, you are servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you tell to just somebody coming by the book table, what's this all about? I say, we're here to teach you that you are a servant of God. How many people would like that in their present condition? Not really. Better, what is that saying in Christianity that the Satan or the devil purportedly has said? Better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. So, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the process of cleansing the consciousness is to remove this terrible mistaken misconception. And here we see that Advaitacharya Prabhu himself, Lord Nityananda, they're showing the joy of Dasya Prema. To become a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the greatest happiness. And is the most, Prabhupada says in one place, the most congenial form of intimacy. The master became transformed by the quality of the servant. I believe this when Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya met and embraced each other. And the master became transformed by the quality of the servant. What did Lord Nityananda do when he went to the householder and rolled on the ground? What was his request beyond chant the holy name of the Lord? Give me the gift of your liberation. When the Chipped Rice and Yogurt Festival was performed, which the actual purpose of that was to please Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, so he would get the mercy of all the, Raghunath Das Goswami would get all the mercy of all the Vaishnavas, so he could be free from all impediments to ultimately come to the topmost stage of devotional service, the Lord Chaitanya and Radha and Krishna. Make a Sankirtan festival. That is why we perform Sankirtan, why we preach, to please Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and get the mercy of the Vaishnavas, both present, our predecessors, and even those who are coming in the future. We play our role without any desire for name, fame, profit, adoration, and distinction. The transcendental devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so ecstatic that even the Lord himself plays the part of a devotee. That is the purpose. Lord Chaitanya has come. Krishna has come. I am in the supreme position. I can't understand what it's like to be a devotee. So when Lord Nityananda took Lord Chaitanya to all the eaters on the bank of the Ganges, he took a portion of their prasad. Can you imagine what a seva aparad that would be, normally speaking, and put in the mouth of Lord Chaitanya? Okay, we're going to come to the prasadam room and we're going to take a little something from everyone's plate and we're going to offer it to the deities. I think it worked. No. What was Lord Chaitanya tasting? The bhakti of each and every person, each and every great devotee there. And the devotees are so kind, even Krishna advises us not to waste time talking to the bewildered spirit souls who perform activities under the modes of material nature and become attached and will invariably react not so hospitably or courteously to us. Better we maintain our own bhajan and remain silent. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord. They know the inner purpose of the Lord, and therefore they take all types of risks. It's a risk to go out. To engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness were absolutely necessary for the human beings. Like Lord Shiva, he swallowed an ocean of poison to save all the living entities of this universe. And he was able to withstand the weight of that karma. So to become a preacher, it is said there of Lord Shiva, to accept voluntary suffering for the sake of delivering the fallen souls is considered the highest method of worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who resides in everyone's heart. He forgets himself to be the Supreme. He personally teaches the whole world how to render service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conception of servitude to Krishna generates such an ecstasy of joy in the soul that even the joy of oneness with the Absolute, if multiplied 10 million times, could not compare to a drop of it. Advaita Acharya's the description of his heartfelt plea for Lord Chaitanya, this is its feedback. Isn't it? It's making like an unnecessary sound. Yes? No? Is described at the conclusion of the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance, chapter 3. Advaita Acharya, having appeared, he found the world devoid of devotional service to Sri Krishna because people were engrossed in material affairs. What to speak of 540 years ago, or 541 years ago, because then Lord Chaitanya, he made this plea, and then he descended and was in the womb of Mother Sachi for 10 months. So 1485, 541 years ago. What to speak of how much people are in Maya. I'm looking back on my own lifetime of 67 years, and what I took to be like, way out there and bohemian and just like completely in the 1970s is like quaint and, let's say, puritanical compared to now. So how bad will it get? How far will it go? How low will the limbo pole go? Limbo lower now. But anything the material nature can dish out, no matter how outrageous, no matter how crazy, no matter how illogical it is, because it's a perverted reflection of the supreme original spiritual substance in all purity, the spiritual energy always reigns triumphant. And that is the conviction and the faith that we build, going out every day, bringing us to the point where we cannot live without it. It is our life and soul. Everyone was engaged in material enjoyment, whether sinfully or virtuously. No one was interested in the transcendental service of the Lord, which can give total prime benediction for humanity at small, prime benediction, I'll have a medium, prime benediction for humanity at large. I'll take a big gulp here, The entire world to be engaged in material piety. Okay. All these problems can be cured, birth, death, disease, and old age, only by Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it is the greatest benediction for humanity. He felt compassion for the people benefit. Prabhupada writes of an amazing, important purport. This is the qualification of the Acharya. This sort of serious interest in the welfare of the public makes one a bona fide Acharya. And the Acharya does not exploit his followers. Since the Acharya is a confidential servitor of the Lord, his heart is always full of compassion for humanity and its suffering. This is what we concentrate on. This is what we build the foundation of our devotional service. Samsaradava Nalalita Loka. This is what we concentrate on. Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitra Gita. Shri Radhika Madhavayora Paramadurya Lila Guna Rupana Nanam Nikunja Yuno Rati Kele Sadaya. That's built in. It's a threadbare part of that. But we don't jump to that exclusively, leaving aside the first two verses of Guru Astakam. That is Sahajya. And that is selfishness. The bona fide Acharya risks his life, gives his life to the preaching movement. Even Prabhupada said that the Western religions are the religions of the meat-eaters, but such a personality as Jesus Christ, who they completely misunderstand and think, well, he died for our sins, I'm okay. I saw in a church marquee, Jesus paid and you get to keep the change. My goodness. But anyway, his example Prabhupada extolled. He gave his life. He knows that all suffering is due to the absence of devotional service to the Lord, and therefore he always tries to find ways. He's not stereotyped. He's not hackneyed. He's always finding ways, according to time, place, person, and circumstance, to change people's activities, making them favorable for the attainment of devotion. That is the qualification of the Acharya. Although Sri Advaita Prabhu himself was powerful enough to do the work as a submissive servitor of the Lord, he thought that without the personal appearance of the Lord, no one can prove the fallen conditioned soul. So I kind of promised, but I think I want to welch on that promise for a few minutes more. And I think We don't have to stand on line, and I don't think that if we come a few minutes later that we'll go hungry tonight and our stomach will be howling in pain through the night. So in this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition him with humbleness. My name, Advaita, will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. And especially focus for the book distributor. You have to pray on the spot. Krishna, you're in their heart. I cannot do anything unless you, very experienced and accomplished and loyal servants of His Divine Grace. Naveen Nirada Prabhu comes to mind. He's written one book, and he has a YouTube channel with so many nice things. He's been out there over 40 years, all around the world, and this vandanam, this prayer to the super soul, make them favorable to the message of Srila Prabhupada's books, and you'll see it works. This is real worship of the Lord. And if you are so qualified, not that you break down the door into the Nikunja Leelas of Radha and Krishna, but you're taken by your spiritual master, said, this is a very nice devotee. And in your own mentality, you think you are the most wretched, most unqualified, sinful of all persons, have no right whatsoever to come into that most sacred precinct. Although that is your heart of heart's desire. Is seemingly contradictory and difficult to understand. But if you set your mind and heart, your intelligence, at the end of this chapter, one who dedicates his life, his intelligence, his wealth, his words, his reputation for the Sankirtan movement is recognized by the Lord and endowed with his blessings. And Hansa Prabhu was saying, don't try to see Krishna. Let Krishna act in such a way that Krishna wants to see you. That Krishna wants you to enter into his eternal Rasa Leela. Not that by artificial reading or immersion and thinking that you have some intellectual ability or the pratibimba abbas, just like in my room, the sun, the southern sky, western sky shines on the Paxton and also that new red building that's 33 stories tall on Hanson Place. And that's my only sunlight for the whole day, except like in the June solstice when I get a little in between the Even Hotel. That's reflected light. It's nice, it's indicative of the real sun, but it's only a reflection. And that is like a beginner's luck or a beginner's taste. But we shouldn't mistake that now I'm on an exalted platform. And even if you are, acts of sacrifice, charity, what is the other thing? Sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be given up. Prabhupada told to Tamal Krishna Maharaj and others, work very hard as a preacher throughout your whole life, and then you can retire to Vrindavan. Otherwise, the mind will disturb. Well, Srila Prabhupada, how will we know when we're on a mature platform? That will be for you to ascertain. And what did Prabhupada say? Amazingly, as for myself, I'm not so advanced, so I'm going to keep preaching. While thinking how to propitiate Krishna, the following verse came to his mind. Tulasi dola matrena jalasya chulukainava vikvinte svam atmanam bhaktevyo bhakta vatsala. Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate toward his devotee, sells himself to a devotee who offers him merely a tulsi leaf and a palmful of water. We should never underestimate the position of Srimati Tulsi Devi to grant devotion and give us mercy. Out of all the things that Prabhupada gave us in the morning program, there could be so many other things. He gave us Tulsi Puja as a regular daily function. Considering the meaning of this verse in this way, not finding any way to repay the debt he owes to one who offers him a tulsi leaf and water, Lord Krishna thinks, there is no wealth in my possession that is equal to a tulsi leaf and water. Thinking of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, he constantly offered tulsi buds and the water of the Ganges. He appealed to Sri Krishna with loud calls, and thus made it possible for Krishna to appear. Therefore, the principal reason for Lord Chaitanya's descent is this appeal from Advaitacharya. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by the desire of his devotees. And this wonderful verse from the important chapter 9 of the 3rd canto, Lord Brahma's prayers for creative energy. Important chapter. Is that in the Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti by Bhav? Bhakti by Bhav. O my Lord, you always dwell in the vision and hearing of your pure devotees. You also live in their lotus-like hearts, which are purified by devotional service. O my Lord, we're glorified by exalted prayers. You show special favor to devotees by manifesting yourself in the eternal forms to which they welcome you. Thus I have determined the meaning of the 4th verse. Lord Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya appeared as an incarnation to preach unalloyed love of Godhead. Dayakaro Sitapati Advaita Gosai. I want to just read that English translation for that. Is the book open? That's why I told you to leave it open. In Vrindavan, on a lane that goes along the boundary wall of Rasalila Park, if you're going to the Radha Damodar temple from Lowy Bazaar, it's a left turn just before you come to the entrance of the Radha Damodar temple. I can't see a Dipron, so one of the two you have to adjust yourself. Okay. Is the wonderful temple of Sitanath, Lord Advaitacharya and Sita Devi. And they have, from their altar, they have this commanding, elevated view of the entire Rasalila Park. Then he prays to Advaita Prabhu, Dayakara Sitapati Advaita Gosai. Advaita Prabhu's wife's name was Sita. Therefore, he is sometimes addressed as Sitapati. Thus, Narottam Das Thakur prays, my dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be kind to me. If you are kind to me, naturally, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu will also be kind to me. Actually, Advaita Prabhu invited Lord Chaitanya to come down when he saw the whole world, sense gratificatory, not understanding Krishna. He felt very much compassionate toward the fallen souls. He also felt himself incapable of claiming them all. We should think big. We want to reclaim everybody. Therefore, why is Harinam Sankirtan so important? Because everyone is affected by the Yuga Dharma. So devotees, they become, I want to give out a card, even though a lot of people just throw it on the floor. And I say there's criteria to understand who you're going to give a card or a pamphlet to. The book that you're what the speaker, you're scanning. You see a nice young person who looks like he's from the suburbs, as opposed to some old, grizzly, pessimistic, jaded New Yorker with this sour look on his face. Who would you approach, right? So, but the holy name affects everyone. What is that saying? I like to say it a lot. Rising tide in the harbor raises all boats in the harbor automatically. And because the holy name is Krishna, it's even said that those who come into the place where the Harinam was become purified. What to speak of those who come into a place where the Harinam is. And it purifies them and readies them for higher forms of devotional service, such as accepting a book, giving a donation, visiting the cafe. Taking prasadam is our secret weapon. Just like at this Bhakti Fest in Joshua Tree, California. Madhua went there one year with the whole truck. We can set up the changing bodies and all the dioramas. And the director said, we like your food, we like your music, but we don't like your philosophy. No, please don't set all that up. Whether they like it or not, they're getting purified. And we, as servants of Krishna, non-Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, the predecessor acharyas, because we are the contemporary people on this planet, we are here, Bhutale, on this earth. And on behalf of Prabhupada, we should never think ourselves great preachers. We should simply aspire to become instruments. I pick up the scissor, I pick up the knife, I pick up the juice squeezer. It's sitting there, but the expert cook picks it up and uses it to make a feast. Make me dance, O Lord, make me dance as you like. Giving all credit to our spiritual master. Things big. If we don't, there's no one else who can help anyone. Real help. If we don't do it, we should think. Feel the weight, feel the pressure, feel the responsibility. If we don't do it, who will? No one. What type of compassion is that? There's plenty of time. There's all of eternity to dance with Krishna in the Rasa Leela. But we have very limited time in this life and this body to get the job done. That is why great devotees, they simply want to reappear in the preaching movement. My dear Lord Nrsingadev, I have no trouble anywhere, at any time. But I'm simply concerned with love. Not that, I got to go out there, my spiritual master told me to do this, but I don't love these people. You should come to the point of loving them. Hate the sin, but not the sinner. That is Acharya. So let us pray to Advaita Acharya, who has appeared first, and then Lord Nityananda, and Lord Nityananda on the Trayodasi, and then after the glorious appearance of Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya, we're given 1 month and 2 days to ready ourselves for the glorious appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you all very much. Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki. Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki. Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. We only went 12 minutes over time.